Hey, how's it going everyone? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this video we are looking at the Marvel Legends Sinister 6 Venom. This is what most of the Marvel Legends collectors consider to be the best version of Venom, simply that it is the sleek version without all the goopiness and tendrils in the tongue. And in that sense it is. We don't have any other version that is that sleek look, or this more classic look, so I have to agree in that regard. However, I personally don't choose this as my go-to Venom figure, even though I do prefer the sleek look. I think the other bulkier Venom, which I'll be reviewing also, or which I've already reviewed depending on when you're watching this, I think that one's a little bit better. But let's take a look at this guy. He stands roughly 7¼ inches tall, so he definitely has some size to him. He is a repaint mostly of the Sabretooth figure. I believe Sabretooth came first, hence the elbows here. And in fact, Omega Red uses a few of these parts as well. I'm trying to think if anybody else does. I'm not sure off the top of my head, but either way, it's a mold you should be at least somewhat familiar with. There's nothing generally wrong with it, but there are a few things that I don't really care for, aside from it being loose. Every one of these Venoms I've ever had did have the loose joints. I'm not sure if they tweaked the mold or what, but it seems to be a bit of an inherent problem. The head sculpt's actually pretty good. I wish they gave him a little bit more girth to the top of his head. I don't care for this slim down look. I kind of like it to have the lip and then more of a regular skull shape on the top. But it's actually not bad the way they designed it. There's lots of that wrinkling going on. The teeth are done pretty well. There's a nice outline for the eyes. So it is a really nice head sculpt. It's just not my personal preference. I like the one that looks more like the 90s cartoon personally, but as it is, it's just fine. He does have some veins sculpted. The musculature is actually not bad throughout this figure. It's a little blocky looking, but it's not too bad. Not too bad at all, really. If you ignore this part, these elbow fins, but you really don't need on Venom, it's a really nice look for Venom. I'm not sure why they painted the fingernails gray. That's a little bit odd. I think it actually detracts a lot from the figure, believe it or not. I think if those fingernails were black, the whole figure would have a nicer look to him. Of course, it's not a huge deal, though. So the head articulation, it goes all the way back, no problem at all. So posing him in a nice, cool pose isn't going to be an issue. Looks down just fine, side to side. So the head articulation is good. He does have a butterfly joint. It doesn't really serve much of a purpose, but it is there. And then we have the standard ball hinge for the shoulder. So I don't know. I mean, I guess it's okay. It doesn't really need to be there, though, I don't think. But it's not bad, so that's fine. Bicep swivel, double jointed elbow. I don't like the way the elbows have that big chunk in the middle. Right there, it just kind of gets in the way. It's supposed to make it look better, but I think it makes it look worse. So that's one of the disappointing things I believe happened with this figure, and actually a few others of the Toy Biz figures that had that weird extra piece in the double joints. So I'm not sure why they did that, but luckily they stopped doing it and it looks better nowadays. We do have a wrist swivel, a wrist hinge, a thumb hinge, an index finger hinge, and the other 3 fingers individually hinged as well. So even though they're probably not the most effective, I mean, you're not going to use them all that much because they are mostly still sculpted, it's still nice to have those, and they don't actually look bad in any position, so you can put them in some poses and it'll be effective. Same thing on this side, even though the fingers are sculpted a little differently, it's still the same set of articulation. The ab crunch works fairly well. He leans back. Unfortunately, they did not carry through the white as far back as they should. He leans forward really far. Same problem back here. I suppose if you're going to bend him over, you're not going to look at his back, and if you're going to lean him back, you probably would look at his front then, so that should have been carried over, but they didn't. We have a standard waist swivel. I just whacked my camera. It's a little loose again, but it's not horribly loose. T-jointed hips, which are kind of horribly loose, but they are there. Thigh swivel. The one thing that does bug me about this is he's got the really big ball hinge for the shoulders, which is okay, but the ball hinge for the hips are really tiny. It takes away from the overall the look of the figure, the aesthetic, and having that smaller ball hinge actually hurts the range of motion. So that's a little disappointing. Of course we do get the splits though, and you can still get them in some decent poses. It just would have been nice to be able to bring that leg up a little bit farther. So we have the double jointed knee, same issue as the elbows. We have that extra chunk of plastic that just gets it in the way. We do have a shin swivel, ankle pivot, ankle rocker, and a toe pivot. So he's got all the articulation you would want. It's just the execution's not 100% ideal. He does have kind of a nice sleek look, kind of a glossy look, which I think fits this version of Venom just fine. I personally wish the white parts did not have the blue shading on them. I think that also takes away from the figure a little bit. It's a little bit more blue than white, so it doesn't quite look like the classic Venom. But it's not horrible. I don't mind it. I just think it could have been better. The paintwork definitely could have been better on the lines. It just doesn't line up the way it's supposed to in a lot of places. With all of that taken into consideration, though, I do think it's a decent Venom figure, and if you don't have one, you'll probably want to pick it up before he gets in a movie or something and people go nuts for Venom stuff. So you might want to grab that now. It's definitely a fine figure. It's just not as great as some people make it out to be. So there it is, guys. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more figure reviews, custom figures, and other good stuff. And in the meantime, keep collecting.